just concluded the data integration part within Voltspeed, where we integrate data coming from multiple sources into one single Data Vault integration layer. In the next step, we actually want to start adding some business logic on top of the raw source data within that integration layer. And we're going to do that by using our Voltspeed Studio. So I'm moving from Data Vault to Business Vault. I'm going to select my Data Vault release, and then I've created a second Business Vault release on top. If I go to the Voltspeed Studio screen, this is where I actually can start creating my own business automation template using Voltspeed's template language. Now, let's dive right in. So this is actually Voltspeed's template language, and I've used that language, which basically captures repeatable patterns within SQL statements. I've used that language to automate my own business logic on top. In this case, I created a computed satellite template, which contains many of the objects that also exist in my raw Vault satellite, but I added two things on top. The first one is the calculation of a load end date. So I'm using a specific function there to calculate those load end dates on top of my raw Vault satellites. And I created a specific signature which is in charge of handling conversions, currency conversions between US dollar and euros. So I've tagged a few attributes within my raw Vault with that specific signature. So let's have a look at that in the signature assignment screen. If I go look for euro to US dollar here, I can see that I have a bunch of raw Vault attributes, like for example the amounts in my invoice and invoice line items satellites, but also the monthly costs amounts that are in my satellites for my shops. I've tagged them with that euro to US dollar signature. Now, because I tagged them all, I can write one single template and apply that same logic on top of all these different attributes. And if I go back to my actual automation template and I look at what that template would be looking like in actual SQL code, I can generate a preview on one particular example, for example this invoice line item satellite, and I can see that I created a view here. I can choose whether it's a view or whether it's a table, but I created a view here that selects all the attributes from my raw Vault satellite. It adds the end dating logic and it adds the conversion logic to convert my euro amount to US dollars. And that's basically it. That's a very simple example of how you can use Voltspeed's template language to add additional business logic on top of your integration layer, all the way downstream into your information marts.